All right, well, hello, all my great people here in North Alabama and across the Tennessee Valley. It's digital host A.J. Wuest welcoming you back to Before the Four, of course, the live stream where I talk about some of 48's top news stories and then some before the 4 o'clock newscast. I hope everyone is having a wonderful Tuesday afternoon, and it has been a good day for me, that is for sure, here in the 48 newsroom. Quite a busy day, so I think it's about time we jump into it. But of course, wherever you're watching Before the Four today, whether it's on Facebook, YouTube, or the 48 Now live stream, thanks for watching and spending just a bit of your Tuesday afternoon here. Now, we turn over to Lauderdale County, where authorities are currently investigating what they're calling a murder-suicide in the Underwood or Petersburg community. Early this morning, deputies responded to Ingram Street in the community about a suspicious person. When they arrived, they say they located a woman with a gunshot wound. It was discovered that the woman witnessed a man fire a gun off, striking another man in a home on Sylvan Street nearby. As the woman ran away from the scene and back home, the suspect chased her and she was hit. Authorities responded to the home and found 2 men dead. Investigators determined that one of the men died from injuries sustained from a gunshot wound, and the suspect had died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Now, the injured woman was taken to the hospital, but she is expected to be okay. Of course, this incident remains under investigation, and 48's Aria Pons will have all the latest coming up in our evening newscasts. But now, turning over to a bit of state news. Earlier today, Governor Kay Ivey signed Senate Bill 252 into law, or better known as the Community Pharmacy Relief Act. The law puts new regulations on pharmacy benefit managers in an effort to keep small pharmacies across the state open for business. Pharmacy benefit managers, or PBMs, serve as the middleman between drugstores and insurance companies to determine how much patients pay out of pocket for their prescriptions and how much pharmacies are reimbursed for the drugs they sell. The new law will now require PBMs to fairly reimburse local pharmacies, increase transparency, and protect patient access. But what's more, Governor Ivey also signed a Senate joint resolution today to encourage the establishment of the Space Command headquarters on Redstone Arsenal. The resolution was signed to continue encouraging the President of the United States Secretary of Defense, and the United States Secretary of the Air Force to proceed in permanently establishing its headquarters in Huntsville. It's currently in Colorado Springs. Now, the governor said, quote, Alabama Republicans and Democrats, along with the facts, agree that U.S. Space Command headquarters belongs in Huntsville, Alabama, end quote. But now moving over to Marshall County, where a judge earlier today denied bond for a Gunnersville murder suspect. Stephen Ward appeared in court yesterday for an Aniah's Law hearing. He is accused of shooting and killing his wife Leslie Ward on April 4th at their home on Kelly Road. It was revealed in court yesterday that Ward ran from the shooting scene only to show up at the police department later. You can read all the findings in court yesterday on this situation right now on our website. Just go to WAFF.com. But now we got to talk about this beautiful weather this week. Yesterday, it got into the 80s, the high 80s even. But today, a slight cool down, but the sun is still shining bright this afternoon. 48 First Alert Chief Meteorologist Brad Travis with a look at the latest forecast. Brad?
Hey, quiet out there, a little breezy, but the sunshine came back. It's cool out there. It's going to be chilly tonight. No rain on the radar. We had a few isolated showers late last night. We don't expect anything tonight. It's just going to be chilly. Temperatures tonight will be in the upper 30s. Right now, we're in the upper 60s. Not too bad. A little choppy on area lakes. Area temperatures here just before 3:30. Low 70s and mid to upper 60s. I'll take it, though. It's better than the alternative. There's no rain. We just mentioned that. Over the next 12 hours, here's our cool down. You'll need a jacket after 7 o'clock this evening because that's pretty much when the sun's setting. Overnight lows, upper 30s and lower 40s. Here's that 3-day forecast taking you up to Good Friday. 81 degrees by Friday. Tomorrow, not bad, less wind, so you'll be able to enjoy the outside a little bit better. 48 for the low Thursday morning, then a high of 77. And as we go through Easter weekend, we are continuing to watch some really nice weather for Easter weekend. It's going to get muggy. Highs will be in the 80s. Sunrise services 6:08 a.m. Easter Sunday. Temperatures will be in the 60s. I'll be having a look at your forecast at 4, 5, 6, and 10 for the next 10 days.
And need I say more? The graphic right here, the 48 First Alert Weather Extra. You're just not going to want to miss it tonight at 9:30. 48 First Alert Chief Meteorologist Brad Travis will be back here in the CTV Center, and he will have all the latest for you. So you're just not going to want to miss it, and it's awesome. It's real time. You can ask questions. You can interact with the stream. It is fun. So yes, tonight at 9:30. But now moving into a story in case you missed it. Last night in a unanimous decision at the city council meeting in Cortland, city leaders voted to revoke the business license of a mental health facility. 48's Nick Ballinger reports.
A unanimous vote from Cortland's Town Hall solidifies the council's plan to revoke the business license of Brighter Path.
The city council, they voted to officially revoke their business license. So they will be notified tomorrow that their business license has been revoked.
Brighter Path is an all-boys treatment facility for troubled teens who have bounced around the foster care system. Fire Chief Scott Norwood says the facility is plagued with trouble itself.
It's just the safety of our citizens. We've had numerous, not necessarily escapes, but unattended patients from that facility getting out of the facility.
The police chief says police have been called to Brighter Path 43 times since November of 2024. 13 were escapes, one happening just last Friday. Malia Burkett moved to Cortland last year.
Immediately, not long after we moved here. We would see kids escape and running down the road.
Norwood says in January, one boy escaped and hit a Lawrence County deputy's car with a shovel and threatened another.
If that had been my wife or another citizen of our town, if that had happened to them, that might not have ended so well.
It's a similar story at Pathway and Owens Crossroads where a riot broke out last October.
You hear rumors and things, and you're concerned about your neighbors, but you're also concerned about the kids too, what's going on in there.
I don't want that to happen in my town.
Just like for Pathway and Owens Crossroads, Brighter Path is allowed due process, meaning its attorneys will be allowed to appeal this decision and have a hearing in front of the council to decide its fate. Now, a hearing date has not yet been set for that, but city leaders in Owens Crossroads tell me that a date has been set for Pathway's final hearing. That'll be June 6th at 1 p.m. In Cortland, Nick Ballinger, 48 News, on your side.
And now heading into another story in case you missed it, out of Limestone County. Yesterday, one was killed and two were injured in an overnight house fire located along Elk River Mills Road. 48's Callie Neese with those details.
Limestone County Coroner Mike Wuest says around midnight last night, a fire broke out on Elk River Mills Road. This is exclusive video from a neighbor's Ring camera that shows the fire taking over the home. Later, you can see the lights from many emergency response vehicles. Today, the home is roped off with crime scene tape. Wuest says the two living in the home were brothers. One of those brothers, who was in his 50s, unfortunately died in the fire. The other was taken to the hospital along with one other person on the scene. It is still unclear who that person on the scene was. Limestone County sheriffs and state fire marshals are investigating. I reached out for further comment and I'm still awaiting a response. Reporting in Limestone County, Callie Neese, 48 News, on your side.
And of course, we're continuing to keep an eye on it. But now moving over to Huntsville, major changes are coming to one intersection where we've been seeing a recent string of car collisions and even deaths. 48 Sarah Grace Kennedy reports on those changes.
It was just so terrifying, and me calling my daughter, that was the worst thing I ever had to do.
Leslie Ingram of Huntsville tells me she suffered multiple injuries in February after the driver of another vehicle crashed into her after making an illegal left turn.
They T-boned me in between the driver door and the passenger side, and when they did, it kind of spun me around. In my front end, I went straight into the concrete barrier that was sitting there to my left.
Ingram mentioned to me that this wasn't the first time that she saw a vehicle trying to make a left turn at that intersection. Just last week, she almost got into another accident.
I was in my car going, no, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it, please don't do it. It's dangerous, because they can't see you from the other side with the barriers up.
Marissa Montecavo of Huntsville was killed when a dump truck hit her SUV after she made a left at that intersection. Seth Burkett with LDOT tells me officials actually added more signage at that intersection to alert people not to make a left turn following that tragic accident. However, Ingram tells me more still can and needs to be done.
There needs to be more measures. I don't know if maybe police need to sit there 24/7 or what's going on, but it's a very dangerous intersection.
Well, it's good to see changes are in the works. Well, now coming up after the break, we'll talk about a nonprofit in Huntsville working to combat homelessness, the latest on immigration, and an annual mud run in one North Alabama city that focuses on team building and fun. It's all ahead. I'll be right back in 1 minute. All right, time is up. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Before the Four. Well, the Rocket City is seeing growth every single day, but that's unfortunately means we're also seeing growth in a different community in our city. Local nonprofit First Stop is seeing a rise in the number of people without a safe place to stay. Since January 1st of this year, First Stop has received over 450 new clients. Leaders with the organization say the majority of those people are homeless. First Stop is a Huntsville nonprofit that supports the unhoused community. They provide a variety of services from meals to case management, even an education program. And they just received a grant from the city of Huntsville that will help them expand another service, their outreach program. These emergency grants provided by the city are used to help the most vulnerable residents in the city. The grant totaled $54,000. 48's Claudia Peppenhorst this morning spoke with Chad Rodriguez with First Stop, who says that money will go directly towards their outreach services. He added the best way to help combat the rise in homelessness is through volunteer work. Take a listen.
As Huntsville's growing and prospering, unfortunately, the need also grows. And that's why we're seeing that large influx of people. We can't do it all, but we want to try to continue to provide the services we do because we know they're critical. But receiving that amount of funding at the level we have for the years that we have, it just shows that the city and the federal government appreciate what we do and know that it's a necessary thing.
Now let me turn over here. The battle over who the Trump administration can deport and who it can't, and what role the federal courts play in the process is heating up. Meanwhile, one of the nation's top universities is fighting back after President Trump threatened to freeze billions in federal funds if the school didn't meet some demands. NBC's Ryan Nobles has more from Washington.
The effort to bring back a Maryland man who the Justice Department said was mistakenly deported to El Salvador intensifying. Lawyers for Kilmar Abrego Garcia arguing in a federal court filing today there is no evidence that anyone has requested the release of their client, after the Supreme Court ordered the Trump administration to facilitate his return.
It's the fact that Trump and Kristi Noem and Pam Bondi won't make that demand in the first place that we find ourselves in the position that we're in right now.
Monday, the president of El Salvador said this in the Oval Office.
How can I smuggle a terrorist into the United States? I don't have the power to return him to the United States.
The White House now maintains Abrego Garcia was not mistakenly deported, insisting he is a member of the MS-13 gang, contrary to a district court judge's finding.
Which is the evidence presented doesn't show or doesn't lead one to believe that conclusion.
Maryland Democrat Senator Chris Van Hollen has asked to meet with El Salvador's president.
I don't think he wants to essentially be the president who's kidnapped a United States citizen.
Today, President Trump once again repeated his goal to send the most violent American convicts to prisons outside the U.S.
We are looking into it and we want to do it. I would love to do that.
At the same time, the Trump administration is putting increasing pressure on the nation's top universities to conform to its ideological goals. At least one institution is fighting back. The White House is freezing $2 billion in federal funds from Harvard University. The school's president refused to bow to White House demands to end its diversity programs, monitor foreign students' political expressions, and make leadership changes. The president now suggesting Harvard should lose its tax-exempt status.
To threaten people with loss of funding or other types of coercive measures from the government to get them to change what they're saying violates the First Amendment of the United States. It's plain and simple.
And two groups representing Harvard believe the federal courts will agree with that sentiment. They filed a lawsuit on Friday asking for a judge to file a temporary restraining order preventing the president from freezing Harvard's funds. Ryan Nobles, NBC News, Washington.
Well, now let's talk about something fun you can bring the whole squad out to this weekend and get a little muddy. The 8th annual Mustang Mud Run is happening this Saturday at Madison Academy. A fun and muddy 5K filled with over 20 different obstacle courses. This year's Mud Run is dedicated to William Tex Bailey, a Madison Academy graduate who played an integral part in the Madison community and Mud Run. The class of 2019 grads sadly passed away in November after a medical emergency while training to become a game warden in Kentucky. The event also helps raise money to support Madison Academy's performing arts and theater. Yesterday, I spoke with race director Terry Spear all about the event. Take a listen.
We have a wonderful group of people who come to do our event. It is so much fun. Like, we'll have people from really all surrounding states of Alabama who come. And we have repeaters who come every single year. So when I'm out on the course on that day, it's amazing because I can spot the ones who have come back year after year after year from either, whereas as young as 10 years old all the way up to like 80 years old. Like, we have quite the age range on it. And it's nice to be able to, like, man, we're so glad to see you back. And they're like, oh, we're so glad that you're doing it one more year. So it's really a nice community feel to it. We really enjoy that aspect of it.
Yes, ma'am, absolutely. And you mentioned some of those past participants at the different events. Any familiar faces coming back this year?
I'm sure that there will be. Most of them I don't necessarily know by name, but I'm sure that there will be the ones that I can recognize. But we do have this year 85 or so area JROTC cadets who are going to be competing with us. So the Mustang Mud Run is really amazing because it's for all athlete types. So we have our elite heat that goes out at 8:45, and those are for the competitors who want to keep their time. They want to get out in front of the crowd and make sure that they're doing a good time. And then our JROTC cadets get to go out after them. And then it's for the rest of us, all of us who have church groups or CrossFit communities or even some of the fraternities around town. They all like to come and do it. It's a great team building opportunity, so then they go out in different waves throughout the morning.
Yes. Awesome interview with Terry yesterday, and truly sounds like it's an incredible event. You can watch that full 48 Now interview and read more about it right now on our website. You just go to WAFF.com, you'll go to digital shows, and then finally 48 Now. But now, today on the good side, 80 plus years ago, a doctor told a family their child had disabilities and his lifespan would be limited. Meet the man who beat those odds, and now his abilities are grabbing attention and stunning audiences. Take a look.
To play like this, it not only takes time, but also great talent.
He has perfect pitch.
Butch Ziegler started playing the piano earlier than most.
Ever since when I was 4 years old, I started playing the piano then, because I was just born with music.
Now at 83 years old, he can play thousands of songs by memory.
I know a lot of them.
You cannot stump him. There is no song that he cannot play.
It's an unbelievable feat for anyone, but especially someone like Butch, who was told at birth he was blind and diagnosed with autism as a teenager.
The people that we serve have so many different abilities.
Butch is one of those people. He, alongside 80 other residents, live at Holy Angels in Belmont, North Carolina.
We are serving individuals who have trachs and G-tubes and multitude of diagnoses that really could not be cared for under one roof.
However, unlike any other facility in the state, Holy Angels brings residents medical care to them, cutting down their trips to the hospital. During the past 70 years, though, the organization learned their residents need more than visits from a doctor. They need purpose.
It's putting the folks that live at Holy Angels and also other folks in the community into a situation where they are learning the community and the community is learning them. And that is meaningful work.
The Bliss Gallery in downtown Belmont is just one of Holy Angels residents-fueled businesses.
Artwork by people who have special needs, alongside local artists.
It's a place where all abilities are on display, helping residents outlive expectations. When asked his secret to a long life, Butch gave a smile and an answer you can't forget.
Well, my secret for my life is joyful.
Such a sweet story there, and that is a type of story I would describe as one that you were just not going to want to miss. And speaking of which, let's head into the stories you're just not going to want to miss coming up in our evening newscast. The latest on Rock Hawk, that murder trial, of course. He's the Fayetteville man on trial for the shooting death of a minor. 48's Faith Delp will have what all happened in court today, remembering a Huntsville man who was sadly killed in a hit and run. 48's Callie Neese is at a balloon release today, honoring his life and legacy. And finally, the Madison County Special Olympics. Get those details coming up, and these are just a few of the stories you're just not going to want to miss coming up in our evening newscast. And yeah, it's that time. It is, of course, time for Facebook fun. That is right. Our 48 Facebook question of the day. What is your secret talent? I am not sure what my secret talent is. I am pretty much an open book. I tell everyone what I believe is a talent of mine. But let's see what you all have to say. Let's see. Alicia said she is a cat whisperer. Now that is a talent within itself, just understanding what goes through a cat's mind. Amberly Fain, she can sing. Amberly, I would love to hear your voice sometime. I absolutely love music. Steve said he can eat a whole sleeve of Girl Scout cookies in one sitting. I've done that. Now that is a secret talent of mine. I have not told anyone that. I can make a red light turn green just by staring at it. Matthew, you and my dad have the same talent. He can do that as well. Nancy Jacob said folk storytelling. Now that is a very awesome talent and honestly kind of a lost art nowadays. David said painting, don't tell anyone. Well, David, you told the wrong person because I'm going to tell everyone. And I don't know if you guys could see the little painting at the bottom of the screen there. I can make a mess while cleaning. Chris, me and you both. Yesterday I was wiping down my counter, but I also had a glass of Coke right next to that counter, and when I was wiping it down, I accidentally knocked over that glass of Coke, and the Coke spilled everywhere. So me and you both, David, me and you both. And Steve, yep, especially those Samoas or those Thin Mints, I can eat that entire sleeve in honestly about a matter of 5 minutes maybe. So I can make it just disappear 100%. And yes, Matthew, that is a hilarious comment there. Nancy, folk storytelling. I'd love to hear some of your stories sometime, Nancy. I'm sure you have a lot of good ones. And I just want to showcase this painting right here. David Henderson, look at those beautiful flowers there in the vase. Very pretty. Now, that's something I would like to take up. I play a little guitar, but I've never been the most visually gifted artist. I'm not very good at the visual arts. I would say more so the musical arts, but I respect all art. It is all great. And a cat whisperer, Alicia, that is awesome. Well, that is just about it I have for today's Before the Four. But I want to thank you all for sticking around and spending a bit of your Tuesday afternoon here. Of course, enjoy the sunlight. It is awesome that we are finally getting a week with no rain and no chances of severe weather, so definitely take advantage of that. Y'all, it is April in Alabama. That does not happen too often, so it is beautiful out there. This is my kind of weather. But I hope you all have a great night, and of course, as always, thank you so much for watching.